What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? It has been a minute, but we are back. This is your retro review for the, I was gonna say the view, Lord. The Wire Season 2, Episode 3. So let's go ahead and jump into it. As always, y'all know it's a lot for one-on-one, so let's get into it. Omar is back, okay? Omar got a new boyfriend, and Omar is already out here trying to figure out a way to rob from the rich and give to him. They scooping out this drug spot. And he done figured out that that the only time they bringing money out is 2 times a day in the laundry basket. And him and his new boo are sitting there scheming on it. And it's just like with Brandon, he's schooling this dude and telling him what to look out for and how to find this and how to find that and all of this. And before you know it, they look up and guess what done happened? Guess what done happened? 2 young ladies come rolling up and they end up robbing the dude. They done peeped the same thing he done peeped. But Omar ain't no hater. Omar was like, oh, I'm impressed. And they ended up finding the 2 chicks and they robbed them, but then they ended up working together. So we see later on in the episode, they done scooped out a drug spot. Looks like he's like a, like a lieutenant. I won't say he a big dude, but he like a lieutenant. Never leaves his house, and they done figured out a way to push their way inside by using his granddaughter, child. It was scandalous, but it was what it was, honey. It was what it was, child. Then we see Bunk and Freeman trying to interview these people on this boat, and nobody is speaking English, even though they know good and damn well that somebody speaks some sort of English, but ain't nobody trying to talk, and nobody trying to tell them what happened down below deck. What they do figure out is 2 people have jumped ship, which they say isn't that uncommon. It happens all the time, and they were giving out advances on pay more than normal. Now they do keep petty cash so they can give guys advances on their pay as they're on, as they're at sea for different things. And he's, the guy said, well, you know what? I just figured they were just having a hell of a, they were doing some serious gambling because more than usual were asking for money. So Buck and Freeman are able to piece it together and figure out, man, they probably, the guys wasn't gambling, they was paying for some ass, okay? And somebody then popped that cargo open, so somebody on the ship knew it was girls on the ship. Everybody didn't know, but they popped that cargo open, and them guys was paying for the pleasure, okay? Now who they was paying? Now we know who, we know that's that, but who they was paying and where the money was going, whole nother conversation, right? So then we learn a little bit more about Mr. Nicky. Now remember, Nicky is the cousin of the crazy boy. What's that boy's name? Ziggy. We see he has a girlfriend and a daughter, and the girlfriend is like, listen, I'm gonna need you to shit or get off the pot. Like at this point, I need to figure something out. I love you. I want to be with you. I want to get married. She going to school telling everybody. These are some serious Catholic folks, and so it's a big deal for her daughter to be at daycare talking about mommy and daddy don't live together. And he was like, okay, I don't care about them people. She said, but I do. And so if you're not going to do right by me, if you're not going to figure out a way to make this right, then I'm going to have to make another decision, and I'm going to have to figure some stuff out. And then, true asshole fashion, he was like, all right, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. But then we see him later on talking to Ziggy, letting him know that it really bothers him that he can't provide for his family. He was like, my girl want to get married. And of course, Ziggy was like, why would you want to do that? And in true, he was like, I mean, I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying if I wanted to, I couldn't. You want to get married. You want to marry that girl. And it's okay. But he said, I don't have anything. Like, I never know whether I'm going to get work from day to day. I'm not making enough money to get my own place. Like, I really ain't doing shit. And I need to figure something out. And Ziggy was like, well, listen, I done already told you, let's put our money together. Let's go get a package. He was like, what I'm not going to do is sit on the corner like some hood niggas, because that's what he said. And, risk my freedom off the strength of, and for nickel and dime money. Now, I can't say I'm mad at him about that. I am particularly, and again, him using the word is in the context of the character in which he was playing. So, it is what it is. So then, we see a moment between McNulty and Daniels. He goes to drop off some evidence, and he realizes where Daniels is, and he was like, damn, like they really got you good. But Daniels let him know, listen, they can do what they want to do. I got 22 years in, I done put my paperwork in. I'm about to go be a lawyer, and all of these, all of them can kiss my ass, Now Stan goes into his office, honey. Stan is, pastrami sandwich's father-in-law, and he opens up his mail because they had been looking for the van, right? We saw this scene where they couldn't find the van. Remember, they stole the van from him, the union guys, and they put it on a cargo ship. Honey, he opened up that damn envelope and he saw that his ship was at the port of Wilmington because it is making its way around the world, okay? So, of course, that just amps him up even more to try to get Frank. Like, that is not doing anything but adding fuel to this fire that he has with Frank because he can, honey. So then we have Stringer Bell is on the case of the prison guard. Remember, they were trying to resolve the situation between the prison guard and Avon and Avon's boy. And Avon tried to, approach the guy, and the guy basically told Avon to kiss his ass. So Avon told Stringer, listen, I need you to handle it. We're going to take care of this. So Stringer, finds out that dude is, he's running drugs through the prison. And they find out who his supplier is. His supplier is the blind man. He's a dealer. He's a blind man. And Stringer goes to him and says, listen, we need you to do us a favor. And the blind man was like, man, come on, man. Like, I make a lot of money off of him. He ain't never late. And his money is always on point. And Stringer was like, I get it. We're going to take care of you. Whatever money you losing, we're going to make sure we get you straight. And let's be clear, I really ain't asking for me. I'm asking for who. And he was like, oh, this coming from Avon? I mean, all right then. So they got a plan for the prison guard. We'll get back to that in a minute. Poor McNulty, honey. McNulty, last week after he told Rhonda that him and his wife was trying to work things out and get back together, baby wife hit him with a doozy and was like, listen, I think we should go ahead. I got some papers coming your way. I need you to go ahead and sign those papers for me. And McNulty was like, sign what papers? What you talking about? She was like, there's separation papers. When you get them, just sign them. And McNulty is feeling some kind of way about it because, like I said, he thought that they was on their way to reconciliation. And wifey is like, no ma'am, no Pam. Like, I might let you come over sometimes and, hit it, like a good time for the old time. But I'm not taking your ass back. And back then, it's not the law anymore, but back then the law in Maryland was you had to be legally separated a year before you could file for divorce. And so at this point, it looks like they've been separated, but they hadn't done any paperwork. And as long as she can establish that they haven't been living in the same house, it can go back to the date that she established that he wasn't in the house or whatever. But the paperwork says something about resolution of marital property and all of that. So McNulty knows that his wife has every intention of divorcing his ass, okay? There will be no reconciliation here, okay? Whatever you thought was happening, it ain't happening. So, Prez is, pastrami sandwich. He is in his feelings, okay? He is upset about the fact that he is on this detail and ain't nobody doing shit. He just came off the Barksdale case. And he is like, listen, I am not understanding why y'all are not working. He is really trying to get the work done. But, of course, he's not in charge of the case. He is a worker, like he was before. But before, he had people like Freeman and Daniels and McNulty that were moving the case along. He was like, we ain't even put in no warrants. Like, we're not looking at nobody's records. The guy that's in charge is like, I guess we'll send some undercovers down there and do a couple of hand-to-hands. If y'all think Frank is running drugs through them ports like that, like a hand-to-hand operation, like, come on. Like, I'm going to need you to really get it together because that ain't even how Frank rolling. So there's an anniversary dinner. Prez Paluski is married to Stan's daughter, And Stan asked, Stan is Stassi, same thing, same person, right? And he asked him, well, how's everything going with my investigation? Because, he pissed off about his van coming up missing. So he like, what's going on with my investigation? And, Prez was like he really don't want to snitch, but then he ended up snitching. And he tells him, he was like, listen, ain't shit going on down there. Like, they ain't doing no work. They not doing nothing. He said, I told you I learned a lot of tricks when I was working on that Barksdale case. And had Burrell not shut that thing down, we'd have Baltimore in handcuffs. Like, yeah, it was a decent case at the end, but it would have been so much better had they let me keep working the case. Like, they not letting me work the case. And so Stan was like, oh, really? Like, oh, that's what we doing? Okay, all right. So Stan actually ends up confronting Burrell. And he tells him, he was like, you just stuck me with some duds. Like, you set me all the way up. He said now, because he actually confronts him right before they get ready to vote on whether Burrell is going to be the new commissioner. He said, now, let's be clear. I might not have enough power behind me to stop it from happening. But I can sure make it a whole lot harder for you. And I can sure have a whole lot of tails wagging and starts with shit that you don't want to have to deal with. And so, you know what? I forgot. Hold on, y'all. I forgot. Hold on. Let me turn this thing off. I hope y'all can hear the first half of this video, child. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I hope y'all can hear that because I'm not redoing it. I have to go back and listen. But anyway. So, Burrell was like, all right, Stan, whatever, what you want? He said, I want Daniels. And he was like, Daniels had already put in his paperwork, like, I can't help you with that. He said, it ain't been finalized, it ain't gone before the retirement board. You can go talk to him and convince him that he need to take this case. And, you know, Burrell, of course, the last thing Burrell want to do is go talk to Daniels about any damn thing. So he was just like, well, I mean, I'll see what I can do. He was like, see what you can do. You know, see what you can do. So, now Stringer, I already said that part. Look, I'm looking at my notes, y'all. I took notes this time, y'all. I took notes. McNulty goes to talk to the medical examiner because this case is really starting to bother him. Y'all know how McNulty get. Something get under his craw and he just can't let it go. So the medical examiner lets him know, listen, the ladies, we can trace the ladies back to Europe. You know, they had artificial breast implants. So they were able to trace them back to Budapest and so a couple of other places. Hungary, found out that all of them got their breasts done at the same place by the same person, and that the women all of the women, for the exception of the floater, had some sort of intercourse, whether it was oral, anal, vaginal, whatever. He also found out that Bunk and Freeman got stuck with his case, so he already know that he gonna have to hear it. So he goes down there to talk to them, and he called himself helping them out because he know he done stuck them with this shit. They done got, you know, screwed over and they got stuck with this daggone case. Of course, they ain't really trying to hear it. He goes down there thinking he got some good information for them, and he giving them some information, and everything he bringing them, they already have, right? They're like, yeah, we already know that happened. Yep, we already know. We already know. Yep, that happened too. So he's really not sharing anything with them that they don't already know, right? But you know, they cussed him out and everything, but you know, at the end of the day, they still gonna be cool. You know, him and Bunk rock like that. So at the end of the day, they still gonna be cool, child. They also found out that the addresses on the manifest are fake, right? Going in and coming out, which of course that's to be expected. Like, you're not gonna put a real address on a prostitution ring, but they were able to confirm that as well. Now, Ziggy and Nikki, they run a caper. They done got the number. I mean, they done got somebody on the inside helping them out. He done gave them the name or the number to the cargo that has like some electronics on it. Nikki then went on to the dock with a tractor trailer. He done picked up the cargo, and they actually end up going to make a deal with you know, a guy. And they make the deal with him. I mean, they negotiated down, but they basically about to make some good money. Like, they basically about to make like a brick because they got this whole truck full of, it was like digital cameras. And you know, that was back when digital cameras were like the big thing. Hell, I done had 3 digital cameras. I don't know what to do. But he was able to negotiate with them. Now, come to find out though, this guy that they were negotiating with, he's connected to the Greek. He went back to the Greek and told the Greek about what happened and who came to him and where they got the stuff from, and basically was getting his permission to make the deal. The Greek was like, go ahead and do it. So that tells me either this guy works for the Greek or he just knows that he needs to get Greek's permission before he comes running through doing something crazy. I foreshadow that that's going to be an issue come up later, but we'll get there. Now, Frank, you know, Frank is a good guy. You know, Frank is trying to save the docks. He's trying to save his union. And he actually goes to this like political fundraiser. And the guy is telling him, listen, you know, these are the people you need to work, because he's trying to make sure that, I guess, my understanding, I guess, is that he's trying to make sure that the dock doesn't close, or that they're trying to bring more traffic through the dock, because ain't nobody making no money on his part of the dock. And y'all know who came into play. Good old Clay Davis, honey. Good old Clay Davis has his hand out, and Frank is talking to him, and Clay Davis lets him know, as long as y'all keep paying, y'all might be all right. Now, I ain't holding my breath that Clay Davis is really going to do too much of nothing to help them out. But anyway, honey. Anyway. We see how they show us how this prison guard is actually able to smuggle the drugs into the jail. Now, here's what I thought was interesting. He's sitting in the parking lot in his Lexus, by the way, in the parking lot of the jail, putting his package together. You're really bold. You're really on that fuck shit. Because how you gonna be sitting in the parking lot of the jail with the drugs, putting the drugs together? But anyway, what he did was he emptied out the Hall's case, the little Halls, and he filled it with the drugs. And then what we saw is once he got inside, he gave the Halls to his dude, his worker, whatever, and the dude broke it down into smaller little batches that he could just drop off on people's beds that wanted it. Very, very interesting how he was getting them drugs in there, honey. He was getting them drugs in there. So, hold on. Now, Stringer Bell, remember, they had this whole conversation about how Dee's baby mama wasn't coming to visit him, and how they needed to make sure that they was keeping her in line, because we got to keep Dee in good spirits, because if Dee get pissed off or feel like they not keeping up their end of the bargain, he could flip on them, and so they got to keep him happy. So Stringer Bell goes by to check on her, right? Mm-hmm. And he asks her, well, how you doing? How you getting the money like you're supposed to? And she looked like she living pretty good, got a nice little apartment, honey, hair done, nails done, all that good stuff, had some gold chains around her neck. And Stringer was like, oh, okay, cool. He said, why you ain't been going to visit Dee? Like, what's up? Like, we need you to do that. And she was like, all right. And so she goes to get this shirt that was Dee's shirt, still had the tags on it. He never got a chance to wear it. You can have it if you want. Stringer gonna look at it talking about something. It's a medium. I'm a large. I said, oh. And next thing you know, baby, I thought he was gonna leave, but he ended up unzipping her. She had a little what do they call that, velour sweatsuit, honey? Them back in the day joints. Ended up unzipping her jacket, and next thing you know, they having sex on the couch. I said, I guess he is making sure Dee baby mama all right. Okay. So then we see one of Frank's workers comes to him and says, listen, I can't do this no more. Like, I'm not getting enough days. I can't pay my bills. My car about to be repossessed. Be behind on our rent. I can't. He said, I love you, Frank. You've always been good to me. It's not personal, but I'm gonna have to go down to the other union, like go down to a different dock. And Frank was like, I hear you and I understand. So he gives him some money. He was like, do me a favor. Go down to the bar. Tell Dolores, have a drink on me. And and then I want you to go home and I want you to sleep on it. And if you still feel the way you feel, you come on back in here tomorrow and you tell me, and we good. He said, but please do me that favor. Go get a drink. Go home and sleep on it. And then let me know how you feel. He was like, but I need you to do that first. So the guy was like, all right, Frank, I'll do it. So we saw the dude go down to the bar. He gave Dolores the money. He said, I need the Frank special or whatever it was. Now, mind you, Ziggy's sitting at the bar. And Ziggy was, happy with himself because they had made that little deal for the cameras. And he saw the guy give Dolores the money. Dolores gave him a shot. And then she brought him back a stack of money. And he was like, what's that? She was like, that's your change. He was like, that's not. She said, Frank told me that that's your change. And then he was just kind of like, well, I mean, she said, listen, either you're going to take it or somebody else is. So the guy took the money and everything. And then she going to turn and look at Ziggy and be like, your dad is a good guy. Your dad's a really good guy. And so I don't know how Ziggy took that. Because I don't know if it's like Ziggy seeing, that his dad is still taking care of his people, or Ziggy was saying it as, well, shit, he don't do nothing for me. Like, I ain't figured out yet what that look was, but it was definitely a look. So Avon goes to talk to D at the jail. And Avon says to D, listen, you know, what's going on? Like, you know, you've been acting real funny. What's good? What's going on? And, you know, D ain't really talking to him. He was like, listen, man, I just need you to keep your head down for a little while. He was like, you know, I'm going to be out of here in a couple of months, you know, a couple of years. I think he's going to have to do like 2.5 years of his deal. And he was like, and we working on getting you out of here. D was like, listen, I got priors. I got convicted on X, Y, Z. At the most I can hope for is to do half of my time, which is still 10 years. I can count to 10. So don't come in here acting like you done did me a favor. Don't come in here acting like everything is all good, because I did what I had to do. But don't get it twisted. I ain't really happy about this whole situation. So then Avon was like, well, look, you know, I just need you to trust us. We working on something. D was like, whatever. Y'all ain't working on shit. Like, I don't know what you think you're going to do. You're not going to get this. You can't get this undone. So then he said, and he, you know, got him a good job working at the library and everything. And D was like, yeah, all right, whatever. It's a good job, but it still don't mean shit to me. So then he was like, so what's up with this, you know, with you snorting, you know, letting him know, I know you getting high. What's up with that? He was like, hell, it's just something to pass the time. I ain't got nothing else to do. I ain't got nothing better to do. What you going, you know? And he said, I tell you what. He said, do me a favor. He said, if it's not a habit and you don't have no problem, I need you to lay off of it for a while. Just a couple of days. Give me a couple of days, you know. And D was like, all right then, whatever. All right. You want me to lay off of it? I'll lay off of it. So the next day, or, you know, a day later or whatever, we see the security guard dropping off his drugs to old boy passing the drugs out. And when he got to D's bump, D, you know, basically didn't signal him that he wanted some of the drugs. So dude kept going, you know. And so later on that night, all of a sudden, all hell is breaking loose. You hear the guards yelling, you hear people yelling, people running by. And D was like, what's going on? What's going on? What's up? What's up? What's up? And they were like, yo, it's a hot shot. It's a hot shot. It's a bad package. And all them dudes that had gotten some of them drugs and got high, all of them was being wheeled right on up out of there. And D, and you know, then of course they show us Avon chilling in his cell reading a book. And D knew exactly what it was. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna see how it all plays out in the next episode. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.